Everybody, welcome back to Roll
with the Troll.
Today we are talking about Cobra Kai. Check this out. This is going to be the stupidest topic we've ever done.
I know, but I love our moral combat.
If you're not familiar with the show and this little game we like to play, we do moral combat. It's when we take two people, of course, it's self-explanatory, right? We try to figure out who's the more moral person, who's a better person. In this case, we have pitted.
This one is a riot.
This is the greatest. We've pitted Mike Barnes from the Karate Kid Part 3 against Ned the rapist from the next Karate Kid. This is going to be, I mean, neither one of these guys has any redeeming qualities whatsoever that we're aware of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be tough or it's just going to be fun because it's so ridiculous.
It's crazy. On one hand, I want to say that maybe in season 5, we'll see these guys, especially Mike Barnes, we'll start to see some redeeming action from them in some way. But I've got to think I doubt it. I mean, it's not like we're going to get a prequel story at some point about Ned as a young boy helping out nuns at the church. You know, this shit's not going to happen. So all right, let's try to figure this out, right? Voice of reason.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Where do we begin? I mean, when I think of either one of these guys, all I think about are their threats of rape, and their violence, and neither one of them has had a heart in any fucking way, shape, or form, right?
Right.
I got to tell you, there's an interview with the actor who played Ned. I talked about this in a recent video about that, and it's a long interview. He said a lot of things. But one of the things he said, you'll notice only Johnny and I were the two that were redeemed at the end. He said Chosen wasn't redeemed. Mike Barnes wasn't redeemed. He said, but we were both redeemed. And I'm thinking, I don't know that you were redeemed at the end of the next Karate Kid. I mean, just because for a second, he kind of had a look on his face like he sort of regretted somewhat all this terrible violence that they were inflicting upon Julie. Yeah. And for a second, he did look a little bit like he'd gone too far.
Yeah.
But he didn't get up and leave. He didn't denounce everybody. It's not like Ned said, all right, guys, I'm out of here.
You're all right, Julie.
Yeah, that would have been great if he used Johnny's line.
Yeah.
You're all right, Pierce. And he held her up. Yeah. Gave her a trophy at the end of the street fight.
Yeah, unless more material landed on the cutting room floor that we never saw, but he was a part of. I mean,
maybe that's what happened. Yeah.
Maybe. So maybe he still feels that because he acted it. But there's I guess he could say that he had some redemption, but it's pretty minimal.
That poor guy. I mean, he thought he was going to be fighting Daniel at the end.
Yeah.
And he's this big muscular dude. He probably got more muscular for the role to be a better villain.
Yeah.
And then in the last minute, they're like, all right, so you're signing on. Listen, changing the script you're signing, you're going to be fighting a girl. And he's probably like, oh, like I fight Daniel's girlfriend for a second and then Daniel steps in. No, there is no LaRusso in this film, Ned, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
So what do we do here? How do we sort out which of these guys is the better person?
It's going to be tough. I mean, Mike Barnes dangled two people down a ravine and threatened to drown them just for a piece of paper.
You know what? Think about that scene for a quick second. Not only did he threaten to drown both of them, but then on their way up is when he made that comment, and maybe what I'll do to her.
Yeah.
And remember that? And then Snake goes, now we're talking.
Yeah.
So he threatened murder and rape all within the course of a couple of minutes in that film.
Right. Yeah. Karate Kid 3 started with, several references to rape, and then Karate Kid 4 just took off with it. So in that respect,
God, if there had been a Karate Kid Part 5, can you imagine?
No, there'd be an actual rape.
Jesus
so Point Barnes, I guess, because he at least had it toned down a little bit in the rape department, whereas Ned and his friends were all over it. Plus the other male characters, it wasn't just them. There were other male characters in there too. There was a it was a theme.
Yeah, you make a point too, because with Ned, that was going on in school.
Yeah.
He was chasing her down in school. So I got to think, if he was that bad in school, think how bad he would have been in the middle of nowhere in this ravine like Mike Barnes was.
Right.
I guess in that way, Mike Barnes had some restraint as compared to Ned. God, are we actually thinking? Well, let's go through a few.
Let's come up with it.
Let's think of some other things here. Like, which of these two guys is more likely to steal from an old woman? Or send a dick pic to a teenager?
I don't. Well.
Dip his balls in the soup at that restaurant in Cobra Kai where Tori worked.
I don't know that either one of them would do that.
Moon the car next to them, driving down the street.
Who did that?
I don't know. Nobody. I'm just making stuff up now.
Oh, okay. I thought you were making a reference. What was the first thing you said?
I said something about stealing from like an old lady.
Who would steal? Mike Barnes.
You see Mike Barnes stealing more than...
Yeah.
Why Mike Barnes?
I'm not sure. It's just a feeling in their personalities.
Oh, because he's greedier.
I'm sensing more of that in Mike Barnes than I do in Ned.
Yeah, Ned doesn't care so much about money. That's not his motivation. He just wants forced sex.
Jesus. Oh my word.
He's like my dog at the park.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. Okay, so that's pretty bad. So which one? Oh, Jesus, these guys. Which one of them do you think is more likely to go change the sign? You know the sign at McDonald's, the letters that you can move around?
Yeah.
Which one is more likely to change the sign from "Try our new McMuffin sandwich" to "Eat my big muff"? One of them would do it. Ned would probably. He's more of a prankster, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ned's got more of like a Dennis the Menace side to him. Mike Barnes has got more of like I think of Barnes as more like Gordon Gekko. You know what I mean? He's just money driven. Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
These guys are fucking wild. It is very tough to think about. Is there any moment in either one of them where we feel like they have a soul besides that hair of a scene at the end of Next Karate Kid?
No, there isn't. Definitely not for Mike Barnes.
No, never, right?
Not at all. And Ned, I mean, just ever so slightly at the very end. But otherwise, no, they're both like heartless, soulless bastards.
Yeah, considering the gravity of all the things that Ned had done throughout that film, I've got to think that like the least you could do was have a split second of just a look in your eye of like, of just a little bit of, did I go too far here?
Yeah.
Because I think that's all he did. Guys, let us know in the comments if maybe we've got it wrong. Craig, I'm sure you will let me know. Buddy, I'm sure you'll let me know if we have something at all wrong. Let me know. Go back and watch the scene. To my knowledge, and I didn't like study up for the video. But
we're doing this on memory.
Yeah.
It's been quite a while since we've seen
to Next Karate Kid. Yeah. But to my knowledge, at the end, there was, you could take it either way, okay? It's open to interpretation. There was a little moment where Ned does seem to have a little look in his face. He might have even said a quick comment to the Colonel, but like, I think he told him no or something. I think it might have gone that far. But the point is, to me, I don't really care. The details don't matter. It was nothing heavy. It was not a bit, you know what? I'm out of here. Yeah. I have overdone it this time.
There was no indignation.
No.
There was no moral outrage.
No. So it really doesn't matter. I don't need the debate over, he shook his head this way. It's like, okay, I get it. Just the point is it all added up to nothing. Okay. Barnes, I think there should have been, you know what next Karate Kid should have been, or Karate Kid 4? It should have been Barnes beating Daniel's fucking ass in the parking lot. Because it's clear that there's no security in the parking lot. Like, you know, if two people still hate each other after the tournament, they're more than welcome to go slug it out in the parking lot and just have another round.
Yeah, there you go.
So that would have made a lot of sense.
Tournament
Barnes
2.0.
was furious. Barnes was beyond furious. He traveled all that way.
Yeah.
He had to live in a mansion for a few months. He had to train with like these big, you know, California names in karate.
Yeah.
These really experienced guys. I mean, this poor guy.
Yeah.
And he was only getting 50% of the dojos.
He was really slumming it.
Yeah, he had a hard time. It's funny. I'd love for these guys to meet. Maybe they do in Cobra Kai. Yeah. I'd love for them to meet and talk about it. Like, just talk about their experiences. Because think how funny this would be if Ned's like, oh yeah, you got involved with Miyagi and all that shit too. What happened with you? Imagine if Barnes is like, man, fucking, I had to fly in from my little house in Montana, and I stayed in this goddamn mansion with these fucking rich dudes, and I had a couple of servants helping me out, and I had to terrorize this kid, and I got to be in a karate tournament.
Yeah.
Ned's probably like, oh, I just had some fire and gasoline and shit, and then my sensei was beaten by old man breath at the end. That's ultimately what beat Colonel. I guess he wasn't a sensei, but that's ultimately.
I got my ass kicked by a girl.
Yeah, that's right. It's worse. Oh my god! And then Barnes is like, me too. they commiserate over.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That would be the best scene if Ned says, he's like, I got beaten up by a girl in the end. And Barnes is like, I pretty much did too. He got the point anyway. She got the point. God. These guys really would have a lot to commiserate over.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing? Out of the 4 villains that are fought by Daniel or Julie, that in the end, Chosen is the one who's like the most honorable now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, really, that's wild. Chosen wanted blood so
Yeah.
badly. So it's just kind of funny that like out of all of them, like Chosen's the nice guy.
I know, it's insane.
Though to be fair, I guess we don't know what's going to happen with Mike Barnes. We don't. It's
This
not
is
season
true.
5 yet. If you're watching this
It remains
past
to
the
be
year
seen.
2022, we don't. This is where we are right now. We don't know what's happening. But yeah, I don't know what else to think here.
So I don't know. Where are we landing between the two? This is a tough one. They're equally detestable in different ways.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is really a draw for me. I
Uh-huh.
just don't know. I mean, this is as close as the fight was at the end of Karate Kid Part 3.
Uh-huh.
I mean, well, that wasn't really close, but I guess point wise, it was very close.
Yeah.
They went into sudden death. I guess I'm gonna barely. As tough as this is, if I have to pick a winner, I'm gonna say that Ned is the slightly better person.
Really?
Yeah.
It's tough. I get it. Why is that?
Why am I landing on Ned? It's only
Yeah.
for this reason alone. This is the only way I can possibly have the tiebreaker in my head.
Mhm.
Imagine that both Ned and Mike Barnes are with a bunch of their buddies, and their buddies are telling them that they should like smack some guy in the face with their cock.
Jeez.
Mike Barnes would just do
Troll.
it. Just Mike would absolutely just
Troll.
smack
Oh
this
my.
person. He would pull down his pants, bam, smack. He
Ugh.
wouldn't think twice. He would just do it.
You do paint a picture.
Ned, I think would hesitate for a moment.
Yeah.
He just like he did at the end of Next Karate Kid. I think for a split second he'd think to himself, should I be smacking my cock and balls against this guy's face? I don't know if that's.
All right, we're good.
And I think I could see Ned hesitating, but Mike Barnes always wants to like up himself. I think that's the bottom line for me. Mike Barnes always wants to raise the stakes a little bit more.
Mm.
And he seems to have no limits, and he seems to get off on kind of flying closer to the metaphorical sun.
Hmm.
So that's my take. What about you?
All
Do you
right.
agree?
Well, I guess I have to narrowly land on Mike Barnes, to be honest with you. It's tough, though.
After that great analogy I just gave about
especially after that great analogy that you just gave. But no, I think
explain yourself because I have a
well,
hard time with this.
it comes down to me for the fact that Ned was so heavily reliant on this threat of rape, whereas at least Mike Barnes kept it somewhat in check and had minimal rape references. So
Right, but Mike Barnes was talking about killing people. Remember, you're forgetting that.
I know this is why I'm saying that it's difficult, but I'm gonna have to land on Mike Barnes because I cannot abide by all of the violence and threats of rape. So I'm gonna have to go Mike Barnes.
I think I hear you. I think Barnes was closer to letting Daniel and Jessica die in that ravine. It was probably an empty threat, but I'm not convinced. Ned, I don't think would have gone that far. And that's where I got to give it to him a little. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I've got to give him the moral superiority a little bit. Guys, look, I tell you what, you know who's got the best comments out of any YouTube channel ever?
Our viewers.
By far. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. You go to our comments, they're fucking intriguing. They really are. For some reason, we've got really creative people listening to this show and commenting. You go to like Campia's channel, oh my God, John, you're so great, dude. I listen every day. I think it's a bunch of bots John has commenting on him, by the way. But no, our comments are really good. So guys, please let us know in the comments. Who do you think, honestly? I know this is a fucking ridiculous question.
We need a tiebreaker, though.
Yeah, we do. I know they're both awful people in every way. Just could you please come up with some way? Let us know who's right. Is the voice of reason right in saying that Mike Barnes is actually a slightly better person? Or am I right in saying, look, Ned's one of the most evil people I've ever seen, yet I think he's got a little bit more moral character.
I know, it's hard to say.
It's hard to say without joking. More moral character than Mike Barnes, just by a little.
We could not have picked two.
Please vote. Please vote, because this is the stupidest topic. We've had some dumb topics.
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to figure out which guy was a better lover to Allie. Remember that one between John and Daniel?
That was before I joined the channel. That might be why I joined the channel.
Needed to keep me in line.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, like, subscribe, click the bell, all that shit. We'll see you tomorrow for another great video. Thanks for the support.
Bye.